Presentation Chairman Hilary Beirne, who's also Executive Secretary of the parade, to come up and share a few words, and then we'll begin the presentation of the awards part. A round of applause for Hilary Beirne, Chairman of the Foundation.
Keep me the vulture, everybody. For those of you who do not understand, that's 1,000 welcomes. Reverend Fathers, Senator George Mitchell, Honourable Governor Patterson, Consul General Jones, Councilman Danny Drum, Parade Chairman Dr. John Leahy, Colonel Tierney of the 69th Regiment, guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming all this evening. What an evening. What a year. We are celebrating, in essence, 100 years of the establishment of the Republic of Ireland, a truly momentous occasion. It is absolutely amazing that 100 years after the 1916 Rising, we have in this room a flag that flew over the GPO on that day, that week. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you, Ian, for ensuring that we got that flag to put on display for everybody tonight. It is also absolutely amazing that we have in our midst a lady, Geraldine Johnson, whose father, from what I understand, was sent back in by Porrick Pierce to take down, from what we understand, the same flag. Geraldine, if you could please stand up. Geraldine is here at table 60. She is the aide at large this year. Geraldine, stay standing, please. Geraldine is the aide at large this year. She was the president of the Dublin Society for years. And it is our way in the parade, putting my hat on as the executive secretary of the parade, it is our way of connecting the 1916 100th anniversary this year by having Geraldine represent her father and her uncles and all the entire Irish volunteers that went out in 1916. And Geraldine, we thank you so much for being here tonight and for being a native large. If you look at the flyer that you have in front of you on the Irish Famine Museum, which is in Strokestown in County Roscommon, in 1916 there was only 50 proclamations actually printed. One of them is in this room again tonight. Not just do we have the original 1916 tricolour, but we have an original 1916 proclamation. And that is thanks to Caroline Gallery, who is over here with Dr. John Leahy. And just take a chance to number. Caroline, if you could stand up for a moment, please. Both of those objects, and Ian, where's Ian? Ian, can you stand up here? Ian is responsible for the tricolour, Caroline is responsible for the proclamation. Ladies and gentlemen, both of those are Irish national treasures. They really, truly do signify a historical moment in Irish history. And Senator George Mitchell, you too signify a momentous moment in Irish history. As I said a couple of weeks ago, from generations to come, your name will be in the Irish history books for what you've done for Ireland in helping Ireland move forward, which resulted in peace in Northern Ireland. And we thank you so much for your efforts on behalf of the Irish people, on behalf of Irish Americans. Our guests of honor, Niall O'Dowd. Niall, if you could stand for a moment. Congressman Morrison. Brian O'Dwyer, if you could stand for a moment. Where's Brian? could stay standing, gentlemen, please. You're not getting off that lightly. Brian, where's Brian? Oh, here we are. Christopher Hyland. There you are. We are honouring Bill Flynn when he is ill and unable to attend, and Chuck Feeney as well. Gentlemen, Ireland owes you a lot of gratitude. We thank you for everything that you did on behalf of Northern Ireland. We thank you for getting the United States government involved in Northern Ireland and ensuring that Senator Mitchell got involved. And Senator Mitchell, I thank you for staying involved and spending 5 years of your life in Ireland to ensure that peace came to Ireland. We thank all of you very, very much for your effort on behalf of Irish America and the people of Northern Ireland and the people of the Republic of Ireland. I was recently talking to Alistair MacDonald MP. He's the MP for Belfast. And one of the things that he asked me to convey to everybody here tonight from the people of Northern Ireland is, please, please, do not put Northern Ireland onto the back burner. Please, he urged everybody to stay involved in Northern Ireland, to continue what has been started there. He is on the ground. A lot of you are aware that sometimes things happen in Northern Ireland and things are fragile. And he urges that the United States government stays involved and that people make sure that they get involved and talk to your senators and your congressmen to ensure that the United States continues to take note of Northern Ireland, to continue what has been done there, and to ensure, and this is the most important part, to ensure that nothing goes backward in Northern Ireland, that things continue to improve as they've done since Senator George Mitchell. This foundation was established to support the New York City St. Patrick's Day Parade. And we're all here, in essence, to support a 255-year New York institution. We thank you for being here tonight to help us fund that parade. It is very, very important to the history of the United States and the history of Irish America that this parade continues. It has a tremendous legacy that has been passed on from generation to generation. It is important that we continue to pass that on to the next generation and keep it in good shape. Thanks Dr. John Lay for everything that he has done on behalf of the parade. And we assure everybody in the room that this parade will continue to be true to its roots. Its roots is, it is a celebration of Irish faith, Irish heritage, and Irish American culture. Okay, it is a unique parade. I was in London and people were quite surprised with the way we operate the parade here in New York. And a person came up to me and she says, I get it. It's an Irish-American parade. And it is. We celebrate our Irish heritage as Irish-Americans. And that is an important distinction that a lot of people are not aware of. It is truly a unique parade. And it is fantastic to see everybody here tonight to help us to support that parade. We would not be here without Sean Lane. Sean Lane. basically were the two people who sat together and decided that we needed a foundation. And I thank Sean. Without Sean, there would be no foundation. And without Sean, half of you would not be here tonight. I thank you so much, everybody. We have a tremendous supportive board of directors in the foundation. And I would like each and every member of the board who are here tonight to please stand up for a round of applause and for our appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my speech. Not that I followed the script, but thank you so much for coming this evening. We really appreciate your support and enjoy your evening. Oh, one more thing. We have an absolutely world-renowned Irish singer here tonight, and I could not go amiss without recognizing Moira Brennan, who's sitting here at table 2. I just want you to know she left her poor husband at home in Ireland, dying with the cold. I'm speaking with him today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, folks, before we get to the awards, here are the top 10 things you're going to see or hear in New York on St. Patrick's Day. Number 10, a group of actual Irish people on vacation being bought drinks by everyone in the pub who's convinced they have to be related because they have great-grandparents from somewhere over there. Number 9, a group of Irish people on vacation being asked if they know O'Malley from Dublin because you all have such a tiny little country over there. Number 8, unhappy dogs that have been forced to wear green clothing. Number 7, kids wearing stick-on facial hair, including the girls. Number 6, Americans everywhere eating corned beef and cabbage and swearing it's the Irish national dish. We know better. Yeah. Shamrocks everywhere. As many of us know, the reason this became the Irish symbol is that St. Patrick used them in teaching as a teaching tool to represent the three persons of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And we all know why the four-leaf clover is so lucky, because you get an extra bonus Jesus. Number 4, bagpipes. Everywhere bagpipes. If you don't hear them, you're sure as heck gonna hear, if you don't see them, you're sure as heck gonna hear them. Wikipedia says they originated in the Middle East, but we know that's a damn dirty lie. Only the twisted Celtic mind could come up with such a fiendish instrument. Number 3, people doing their best to mangle Danny Boy to death and not realizing it was written by an English barrister. Number 2, a sad, gaudy trail of abandoned, sparkly green clothing and accessories that leads to absolutely nowhere. We've all seen that in the streets, right, folks? And number 1, a parade, the world's largest and oldest parade on the streets of New York, running like a well-oiled machine. And now we're going to get to the awards part of our evening. The St. Patrick Award is given to honor individuals for outstanding contribution. It comes to us this year from County Wicklow in the hands of sculptors Mike Callan and Gunvor Anuj. They're not here, so I probably mispronounced that, but who cares? Just kidding, just kidding. Iron swans, hand-wrought in Ireland, partially gilded, very beautiful here as we can see, and mounted on Connemara marble of Galway. So in terms of choosing the swan as a symbol, in Irish mythology, the swan signifies resurrection, change, spring, birth, renewal, light, love, and fidelity. 20% of European mute swans winter in Ireland. They return from their migration at the very beginning of spring, just as the sun grows stronger. Thus, the swan is connected with Imbolc, the first day of Celtic spring, which is also St. Bridget's Day. They are connected with love and fidelity because of their custom of mating for life. In ancient Ireland, the swan was sacred to both the Druids and the bards. The Druids were members of the learned class and religious leaders. They saw the swan as representing the soul. The bards were highly esteemed musicians, poets, and storytellers. They wore a special ceremonial cloak made of swan skins and feathers as a mark of their privileged station. Now, the swan is also a very powerful symbol in Irish mythology. Many of us know the story of the children of Lear, which is a very popular Irish legend. When Lear's wife, Eva, dies, leaving 4 young children, Lear remarries. His new wife, Aoife, is jealous of the children and banishes them by turning them into swans for 900 years. In one ending, they encounter St. Patrick, who turns them back into human form. As they are now, of course, over 900 years old, they instantly die. A depressing ending, as with most Irish literature. I think you will all agree. I think it was President Kennedy who said, "What's the use of being Irish if the world doesn't break your heart?" Now, of course, one smart aleck board member pointed out to me that as they were baptized by St. Patrick, they were assured eternal life. Thank you, Christopher. We like the depressing ending in Ireland, Christopher. Something's got to be wrong. Significantly, sculptor Oisin Kelly employed the Swans of Lear in his masterful work, the sculpture at the center of Dublin's Garden of Remembrance, as a memorial to Irish freedom. So this is the reason why we choose the swan. So we'd now like to move forward to present our awards this evening. We have Hilary Beirne here. I would actually like to ask Parade Chairman John Leahy and Board Member Frank Comerford to join me for the first award, please, on the stage. So please join me. So the first award we're going to present, Hilary Beirne, our chairman, is going to present, is to the Fitzsimons family in recognition of John Fitzsimons, our former vice chairman of the parade, who served with distinction for many years. So if a member or two of the Fitzsimons family could join us, please, on stage. You know, and as a true tribute to John, I'll say I have some words prepared, but as we were getting ready for this evening, the Maitre d' actually walked up to me and he said, "We really miss John Fitzsimons here." I mean, I think that says it all, folks, when the Maitre d' comes up to you and says, "John even had an impact here with the staff." So, you know, what an incredible man. Now, a friend of John Fitzsimons pointed out to me that there was a possible error in our program this evening because John is still listed as a board member and he was listed on the invitation for this year's parade gala. I assured him that nothing could be further from the truth. Even being quite unwell, John was still working on the parade business right up until the end, and actually even sent me an email asking me if we were getting ready for the dinner last year. So that'll tell you the kind of man that John Fitzsimons was. In fact, as Hilary and I founded this foundation 4 or 5 years ago, just after we started, John Fitzsimons came up to me very annoyed. Anybody who knew John Fitzsimons knows he never looks annoyed, so I was a little scared. John said, "I have a bone to pick with you," which is about as strong language as John Fitzsimons would ever use, probably. And I said, "What's wrong, John?" I was all of a sudden nervous. You know, he's a very senior guy in the parade. We're just starting this foundation thing. And he said, "You guys just started a foundation and you didn't ask me to join." And I explained it wasn't an oversight because he already did so much for the parade, including being very, very heavily engaged at the board level with the parade itself, and also annually funding the Green Line. And then John basically turned to me and he said, "I'll decide when I've done enough. I'm on the board." So, fair enough, John. So here's Diane Fitzsimons. I know, John, if you'd like to say a few words about John Fitzsimons. John Leahy, our chairman, was very close with John Fitzsimons. Chairman of the parade.
In all honesty, we wouldn't be here tonight celebrating the most inclusive parade in the 255-year history of this parade, and in my view, the most unifying parade in more than 25 years, if it had not been for John Fitzsimons. While many people contributed to this effort, no one, and I mean no one, did more than John Fitzsimons. As Sean mentioned, John, among the many things he contributed to the parade was the Green Line. And I just spoke with Diane and the children just a few moments before we started, and Diane mentioned something to me. And I'd like to ask Diane to come up and just say a few words on behalf of the Fitzsimons family. Diane?
Thank you so much, everybody. The Irish community has been so kind, very, very kind, and I wouldn't be here without them because they've been so supportive, saying wonderful things about my husband, which were true, and I thank everybody so much. Thank you. Oh, I wanted to add one thing, sorry. Even in his last 3 days, he was in and out of consciousness, and he was always talking about the parade, and he thought he was in a meeting, and he was asking us to hurry up and get ready so that he could get to the meeting.
Oh, sorry, can we take a picture, Diane? Just like leave that there, you hold it, This year is the 255th anniversary of the St. Patrick's Day Parade, and we commemorate the 100th year since the Easter Rising. Grand Marshal Senator George Mitchell will be honored shortly for his outstanding contribution to peace in Northern Ireland. But we'd also now like to briefly recognize a few individuals who played vital roles in the peace process before we call up Senator Mitchell. So, Bruce Morrison, former Congressman, I'd like you to come up, please, Bruce, if you could. So, former Congressman from Connecticut, he's a lobbyist and an immigration lawyer. Bruce is chairman of Morrison Public Affairs Group and represented the 3rd District of Connecticut in the U.S. House of Representatives from 83 to 91. And here's the thing that most Irish people will recognize. As chairman of the Immigration Subcommittee, he led the passage of the Immigration Act of 1990. And this legislation created the Morrison visa that we all, so many of us heard of, under which 50,000 Irish received green cards in the early 90s, as many of us know. Now, how many of us received phone calls, because there was no email at that point, from our friends or family calling to say that they won the visa lottery? And what a lottery it was to come to the greatest country on earth, the golden ticket to America. Thank you. Thank you. Hilary just said he mailed 500 envelopes, 500 applications for the Morrison visa. So since 1987, Mr. Morrison has traveled frequently to Northern Ireland and has been heavily involved in all aspects of the peace process. He played a key role in negotiations leading to the Irish Good Friday Peace Agreement. And he also, in 92 and 96, was co-chairman of Irish Americans for Clinton Gore. He holds a bachelor's in chemistry from MIT and a master's in organic chemistry from University of Illinois. and is a graduate of Yale Law School. A round of applause for Bruce Morrison.
I just wanted to say something about Congressman Bruce Morrison. Because of his efforts on immigration, thousands of Irish people from Ireland owe a great debt of gratitude to that man. He did unbelievable work. And as Sean said, I remember driving and I got multiple phone calls from people in Ireland. Can you put a letter in for me? Here's my information. And we drove down and there was piles of people throwing the envelopes in to get the lotto for the visas to come to the United States. Congressman, thank you so much on behalf of everybody here in this room and all the Irish immigrants in this country.
So Niall O'Dowd, in typical fashion, I think Niall likes to be kind of out of the limelight and reporting on other people. When I contacted him for this evening to ask him if he had a bio, he just said, just find something on the internet. He said, probably something in Wikipedia. Very unassuming. So Niall obtained a BA from University College Dublin. That just goes to show you, despite his many achievements, that nobody's perfect. Sorry, Niall, sorry. Go away, graduate. So the year after he graduated, he left for the United States, as many of us did the year after we graduated. He's the founder of two very prominent Irish publications, the Irish Voice newspaper and Irish American magazine. He's also the founder of Irish Central, a global Irish internet website, which I stole liberally from this evening, by the way, copyright protected. Thank you, Debbie, Neil. And he played a key role in the negotiations leading to the Irish Good Friday Peace Agreement. And also is a proponent of comprehensive immigration reform. I think we spotted a central theme here with immigration, the Irish, and our honorees this evening. Neil's wife is Debbie McGoldrick, editor of Irish America, or Irish Voice, the Irish Voice, before she tells you. And they have a daughter, Lana.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to relate one anecdote. I was at the White House last night for the Irish Night, and the President of the United States paid specific tribute to the Irish parade in New York this year, the first time I've ever heard it. And he said it was a tremendous example of people working together and bringing the community together. And these are the gentlemen and the ladies who made it all possible. I think it is very, very And he talked about his daughters, and he said, you know, my daughters now will always know that they're descended from coffin ships and slave ships. And what a wonderful thing that his daughters can remember their history all the way back. And I think it's an example of how far this parade can go, because already you're influencing the President of the United States to think about his heritage a little bit differently. So congratulations to all of you for all that you've done. Thank you.
High School his BA degree from George Washington University in Spanish American Literature and his Master's of Arts in Spanish Language Literature from Middlebury College in Madrid, which just goes to show you that not all attorneys are Philistines. Thank you, Brian. I can't talk, I'm a banker, folks. So. He then went on to receive his JD from Georgetown University and his Master's in Law from George Washington University. He's also been awarded a Doctor of Philosophy degree from Dublin City University. Brian has been cited as a New York super lawyer since the list's inception. He's a consummate advocate for immigrants' rights. In fact, he founded the Emerald Immigration Center, which anybody who's Irish or Irish American has heard of, and which is the largest Irish immigrant center in the United States. His work in the political arena has largely concentrated on promoting Irish and Irish American interests. He was part of the delegation that accompanied President Clinton to Ireland on each of his 3 trips, and served as an advisor to the White House on Irish issues, including the peace process. He presently serves as the chairman of the Irish Chamber of Commerce at USA. He is married to former Mariana McWilliam. Did I pronounce that? I did. And they have 2 children, Brendan and Kathleen, and they have 4 grandchildren. So thank you, Brian.
Thank you. I did want to say that this is an extraordinary moment in my life to be part of this wonderful, wonderful celebration. Tonight we celebrate any number of things. We celebrate the community finally coming together in a sigh of relief that we can all be together coming up on St. Patrick's Day. We celebrate the wonderful people who have supported us. Our wonderful Consul General Barbara Jones, who has done so much for us. My friend and former Governor David Patterson, who has worked so hard for this Irish community. But tonight, I dedicate this award to my family. You know, we could not have done the work that we did in terms of Irish immigration if we did not put that out in terms of the publicity. Adrian Flownley and the Adrian Flownley Show has done so much for Irish America. I obviously acknowledge my wife, who has been with me all these years in my life. And tonight, just to make sure that I did well, I brought my father confessor, Monsignor Leonard, to make sure that I was all right here.